This is Miss Lizzie, and I want to welcome you to the Queen Lizzie podcast. Together, we will go through the history of Rosewood, Florida, and watch as the once prosperous town rises out of the bloodshed, fire, and ash to reveal the people, the memory, and the legacy of Rosewood. Watch every Thursday on Facebook and YouTube, or listen to our story on Apple or Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you find your favorite podcasts. Hello, everybody. I am Lizzie Robinson Jenkins, representing not only the Rosewood Foundation, but the personal testimonies and history of cherished friends and family. You are now watching the Queen Lizzie podcast. Today, we are talking with Ramona Jackson. Hello, Ramona.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I am.
Yeah.
I am honored to have you as my guest today.
I'm the one honored. It's a distinct honor just to be in your presence. So thank you for having me.
You are welcome. Same here. And I have been watching you. By the way, you all, my audience, this is my soror.
Yeah.
And we have met a couple of years ago.
Yes, ma'am.
And it's like I've known you all of my life. And
here.
I want you all to know something that I just told her the other day. My aunt was the Rosewood school teacher. Her name was Mahulda Gusset Brown Carrier. However, she's from Archer. She married a young man in Rosewood,
Okay.
moved there,
Mm-hmm.
became the teacher.
Oh, wow.
And her favorite song was Just a Closer Walk with Thee.
Mm-hmm.
And a couple of days ago, I asked you if you would be kind enough to sing her song, which is an upcoming event.
Mm-hmm.
You agreed. And what else did you tell me?
I said I am going to learn it so I could do it justice.
Okay, and I appreciate that. And I also told you your mannerism is similar to her mannerism. So you, for some reason, I was attracted to your mannerism because you remind me of her.
Oh my God.
Now, it's your time if you want to share something about yourself and what you do.
Okay.
Here in Gainesville, it's your time.
Awesome. Well, I am the owner of a nonprofit organization called Carolyn's Heart Incorporated, where we assist people with rental and utility assistance, but we also provide financial literacy so we can empower them economically so they can move forward and build a whole legacy and change their financial trajectory. So that's what I do 100% of the time. I also have my business called Finance Sense LLC, where we help with debt management and coaching one-on-one and helping people to improve their financial position. So it's all about economically empowering people, because I was at a point where I needed a hand up. I needed somebody to teach me. So they say once you have achieved, you need to strengthen your brother. So that's what these two organizations that I'm blessed to be a part of and to own are focused on doing.
Wonderful, wonderful. And where did you get your experience?
Oh, I spent 15 years in Wells Fargo,
Yes.
from the teller all the way up to the district manager here in Gainesville. So I've had a lot of financial industry training and background, and I'm also connected with some awesome people who are subject matter experts to be
Yes.
able to help build their whole financial picture in a trustworthy state.
I appreciate knowing that. I knew you were there, but I didn't know the details. I knew you worked at Wells Fargo. And it's always good to share this information, okay, with other people so that we will know what you're doing. Although the show is about Rosewood, okay, but I also reach out to people like you, experts like you, bring you in and share your information. And I also invite students to come in and talk
Awesome.
about education in school. That's very important to know where they plan to go. And if they are listening, okay, maybe they can get some ideas from people that I bring in to be a part of the show. And yes, and I also want you to know, as I said, this is Rosewood show. And it's Christmas time, leading
Yes.
up to Christmas.
Exactly.
This was a festive time in Rosewood when Rosewood was up and running.
Wow.
Christmas, they were bakers. They had baking contests, and the most important dessert was the sweet potato pie
Oh, my favorite.
and the pound cake. I make a very good sweet potato pie. Not bragging, but it's my aunt's pie. It's just like the pie that she used to make. But they enjoyed each other. They were very active in the community, in the church, and during Christmas time. I remember I have a copy of a program she did with the children, an ensemble. And the songs that they would sing was very, what we call today, Negro spirituals.
Oh, wow.
Gospel songs.
Okay.
And as I said, her song was Just a Closer Walk with Thee. My mother's song, my mom was not there. My mom lived in Archer.
Okay.
Archer is her home. But her song was Precious Lord.
Oh, wow.
And all of those songs that they sang carry on today.
Yeah.
And I believe we wrote most of them. And I listed a few. And I know you can sing. She didn't tell you all this, but she sings with a band. Am I right?
Yes, ma'am.
What's the
Yes,
name of the
ma'am.
band?
D.R. Richardson and Soul Fire.
Okay. And I was with her this weekend. Oh my gosh, she showed off. Really did. Yes, she can sing. And I can't. Okay, the one thing I cannot do, sing. My mom made sure I knew that too. But I like hanging around or being in the presence of people that sing, hoping it would, kind of like
Rub
off.
Okay.
But I can dance.
We seen that. Proud Mary. Let's not share this story. First person on the dance floor. Yeah.
But that song has a meaning. Proud Mary. I love that song because when it says rolling, rolling, rolling on the river, my aunt was a Rosewood school teacher. She moved more than 5 times. She ran from this place to the next place for safety because the conspirators followed her for the next 25 years after Rosewood.
Oh, wow.
So that song, one day I heard it and a bell went off. That song was made for your aunt. Wow. So when I'm out there dancing, I'm dancing for her. It, as I said, has meaning because she had to survive. She was something else. She never, it was 25 years after Rosewood, she never healed from that. So I call this my conversation, peace, and I'm seeking peace for her healing.
I understand.
Okay, I'm glad you understand. But yes, that song was something else, or it means something else to me. But my dad said when I was at home, you no dancing in this house. I couldn't dance. But when I went to college, Dad, I learned to dance.
Well, I cannot tell because you cleared the floor. Everybody, all eyes on you.
It was fun. It really was. And I want to share a couple of songs, old songs, to see if you know them. Later on, we are going to do Silent Night. Okay. But what were some of the songs? Go Tell It on the Mountain.
Oh, my goodness.
You like that?
Yes, I love it. I love it.
Hit it for me. Go
tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere. Go tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ was born. That's my
beautiful.
Favorite. Yes, that's my favorite.
Is that right?
Yeah, they have so many different renditions of it. Yes. They jazzed it up,
Yes.
But it's nothing like going back to what the original songwriter intended it to be because it has so much meaning. Yes,
it has, and you did an excellent job. And that's just one of a couple that I would like for you to share. What about Every Time I Feel the Spirit? Every time I feel the Spirit
moving in my heart, I will pray. Every time I feel the Spirit moving in my heart, I will pray. Yes.
Yeah.
You got some good ones on there.
Soon it will be done.
Oh, soon I will be done. with the troubles of this world. Troubles of this world. Troubles of this world. Soon I will be done with the troubles of this world.
I'm going
Home to live with God.
Amen.
Yes.
Amen. You didn't know.
Oh, that's Mahalia.
Yes.
Yes.
And you were Mahalia Jr.
Oh, Mahalia had some.
Yes.
I don't know.
yes.
Her voice was like impeccable. I loved it. I loved it.
Exactly. And this is what I wanted to end the year with, the Christmas energy spirit, because that's what they lived in Rosewood, especially their last 100 years in Rosewood. They had a wonderful, wonderful time during that Christmas break. Because it was during the Christmas break when the Rosewood Massacre happened. The kids were all out for school. My aunt talked about she was at home sewing, okay, because she was a seamstress, and she was making clothes and cleaning house during that time when Rosewood was invaded in 1923. So I just wanted to bring back some of these old songs so that we can hear what they talked about or they sang about. And what we don't know, in one of the songs says, nobody knows the trouble I've seen. Nobody knows the trouble I've seen. Nobody knows but Jesus. Aren't you going to help me out?
Oh, I like the way you're singing it, really.
Yes, indeed. And my dad, if he was around, he would say, it's a battle like in the time of battle. It's a battle like in the time of battle.
Shelter in the time of a storm.
Amen.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, indeed. I wanted to make sure I share some of the energies and the spirits that were in Rosewood before it was decimated. However it was, but the spirit, the energy lives on in us, through us.
Right.
And that's what we are sharing today.
Meldon Law has been serving personal injury victims since 1971. In those days, Jeffrey Meldon's presence as an attorney in the music scene dubbed him with the nickname the Hippie Attorney. And although times have changed, two things haven't: our commitment to bettering our community by helping the injured,
Albert, are you ready to go to the game?
and our love for the Florida Gators.
If you bleed orange and blue, Meldon Law is the firm for you.
I am Black History.
I am Rosewood Black History.
I am Florida
and America's Black History, and you are too.
January 1st, 1923, the KKK insurrectionists attacked Rosewood, killing 5, burning it down.
Because a white woman lied and cried, a black man assaulted me. Rosewood redevelopment is on its way.
Want to help? Visit rosewoodflorida.com.
Welcome back to Queen Lizzie Podcast, brought to you weekly from the Steve Spurrier Podcast Room at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. We are here with Ramona Jackson. The Queen Lizzie Podcast is brought to you by Campus USA Credit Union, live from the Meldon Law Gator Studios at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. Special thanks to Greg Bradley, Allstate Insurance. Okay, we are back with Ramona Jackson, who is my sorority sister
Yes.
and good friend.
Yes.
Okay, and now business partner.
I love it all.
Oh, yes, we are business in the field of friendship. Okay, so as I was saying to you, as we were talking about this time of year in Rosewood, it was always festive. The women always did the baking contest. They cooked and killed wild animals. They also did what you all call pilaf, we call perlo rice, in a wash pot. If you don't know what a wash pot is, it's like a kettle, big iron kettle. Okay, and the men would always fish and sell the food, believe it or not. And when I say sell, each week a train from Jacksonville would drive down or would bring passengers down to Cedar Key for a weekend of fun. And I want you to know that Rosewood was not always about church.
Okay.
They had a juke joint there.
Ooh.
Moonshine still.
Uh-oh. Okay.
There was numbers runners. And they lived life. And when they would travel from Jacksonville, and when I say they, I don't mean black people. I mean vacationers, people that were on, probably snowbirds would get to Jacksonville, and then they would catch that train to Rosewood to party on the weekend. Wow. And that's exactly what they did. And on their way back, they would always stop in Rosewood. Rosewood was, some people say they had a post office there, and some people said it was a mail stop, but they did have a depot.
Okay.
And they would always stop on their way back after a weekend. They would stop in Rosewood, and they would buy pies because the women, okay, and I do mean the Rosewood women would bake pies, and they would sell eggs to them, okay, and the men would have killed like pot-bellied pigs or, you know, meat and cleaned it up and sell it to them. And this happened every weekend. So they were a community that worked, okay? They were not rich as people would like for you to be, but they were hard-working people. And I will always tell you the truth, okay? Hard-working people that worked together, that got along with everybody, and had the KKK not come to Rosewood when Fannie Taylor lied and said she was assaulted by a black man, the sheriff, Bob Walker, was in control of the people. He would, and as I said, it was a partying town. They would get drunk. He would throw them in jail or put them in jail for the weekend, let them sleep it off, and let them out, black and white. It was a community where they got along, the blacks and the white, because all of them were poor, and the only thing they wanted to do, work and make sure their kids got a better education than they themselves owned. Most of them were timber workers, most of the people that lived there. There was one or two businesses, but they were timber workers, and they worked and provided for their families. So it was a pretty good little town to live in. And it's like all of the other southern towns, you know that. Yeah, we were all out there trying to make it, and we know our parents didn't have the education that we now have, but they made sure we did better. As my mom would say, you got to do better than I did, because my mother was allowed to school 4 months out of the year, and the cutoff was 8th grade. Once they finished 8th grade, that was it. But she was a genius.
Wow.
And I know your mom was a genius too.
Yes, she was.
Okay.
Yes, she was.
I see it in you. Would you like to ask me questions about Rosewood?
Yes.
Okay.
Actually, two.
Okay.
One, if you look at where we are right now, 2023, moving forward, if it didn't happen, if Rosewood wasn't destroyed, where do you think it would be with all the descendants?
Oh my God. I just have no idea, because you know what happened as a result of Rosewood burning down. There was a bill passed in 1994 by Governor Lawton Childs, and I want people to know that Commissioner Cynthia Chestnut was on the representative. She was a Florida representative. She was in Tallahassee. She worked. And when I tell you she worked, she worked. And the most important thing that she accomplished to make sure they established a Rosewood Family Scholarship.
Wow.
As a result of that scholarship, there has been like 297 graduates. more than that by now. The last time we got a count, it was 297.
Wow.
Okay.
That's
The
awesome.
one of the last young men to graduate with that Rosewood Family Scholarship is now an attorney at Morgan and Morgan in Jacksonville.
Phenomenal.
Phenomenal. Now, your question, had it not been for the massacre, what I don't know, where would they be? Where would we be? I have absolutely no idea. But they continue to excel. I have a good friend. One of them is an assistant principal in Palm Beach, and she's a Delta, and the Deltas are working really, really hard for her and with my program too, because she too is involved in the Real Rosewood Foundation. We work
Okay.
together. So there are so many people that have graduated from that program and done
Awesome.
extremely well. And
Awesome.
I tell people that my great grandmother walked to Archer from Jackson, Mississippi, enslaved, age 13, stolen from her parents. Never saw them again. 678 miles from Jackson, Mississippi to Archer over a 6-month period. Am I angry? I'm disappointed with the history. But had it not been for her, there would not be a me. And because of her, I am. So I'm not embarrassed about coming. I'm hurt, disappointed because of the policies, but I am proud for her. And she lived to be 100 years of age, born in 1826, died in
Wow.
1926.
Wow.
Yes. And she was 97 when her granddaughter, my aunt, was going through her Rosewood debacle in Rosewood. And Mom said she was walking the floor praying all night long for her granddaughter. Okay, and as I said, she was 97. And your second question?
With me being an undergraduate advisor, right, I have a lot of the college students under that I have the fortunate opportunity to advise. History needs to be passed forward. So what steps are you doing to make sure that this precious history of Rosewood is getting transferred to the younger generation so they won't, they're becoming the torchbearers afterwards, right? So how are we making sure that it's really told to them so they'll know?
Begging, pleading, and you can be that liaison and help me or help us, because they're my sorors too, and you're doing an excellent job with them. Oh my
Thank
God.
you. Thank you.
And just put them in touch with me. A couple of weeks ago, I got a call from the NAACP youth president. She wanted to interview me, and I gave her an interview. And she said at the very end of the interview, she said, I have 2 questions for you. Also, 2 must be the magic number. Her first question was, why did you decide to do the research for Rosewood? So I gave her, I let her know that it was my mom's wish because her sister had been humiliated, abused, and my mother said, you must keep this history alive. You must tell the story. It must forever be preserved. And she said, well, my second question, who is going to make sure this history is continued? I was like speechless because I said, oh, that's a perfect question. It's a perfect question. Who is going to be the torch bearer for the next generation? We need somebody to take this history on. I have nieces and nephews, They tell me, some of them, Auntie, I don't want to hear that. It's too painful.
Oh, wow.
Uh-huh. And they told my mom that when my mother was, when the movie was screened here, my mom was the spokesperson, and they invited her to come and speak and bring her grandchildren and great-grandchildren. And she was calling them, and one of her grandsons said, well, Grandma, I'm not going to see that movie. She said, you're a lie. She said, if my sister lived it, you're going to meet me at that theater, and you're going to see it. Yes, ma'am. He was there, and all of his children and grands, and all of her children and grand were there, and she was the like the spokesperson, and they asked her afterwards, Miss Robinson, how would you rate the Rosewood movie on a scale of 1 to 10? She said, well, I give it a 7. She said, but the two most important things, it let people know that Rosewood happened, and it let people know that white women will lie on black men. And the movie theater went, as if they didn't want to hear that. Okay. The people there, as if they didn't want to hear. My mom was 95, put her hand on her hip, and she said, not only did they lie on our men then, they're still doing it today. Complete silence. That's a message in there. And I wanted to say, I wanted to get under the bench, you know. Why would you say that, Mom? I asked her later, she said, hey, I've lived my life. I've earned the right to talk. And Mama is going to say anything she wants to say.
Awesome.
So if you think I have a big mouth, or if you think I talk a lot, Teresa Robinson.
Wow.
Mother Teresa. That's where I get it from.
So your book outline a lot?
My book what?
Yeah, does it outline it?
No, you know what? This book is really different.
Okay.
It tells about, it's called Lizzie's Rosewood Race. It talks about my childhood growing up
Okay.
poor on the farm. When I was growing up, there were no black pictures in any books. This book is filled with black pictures, and it talks about my life and the racism that I went through in 1970. I must tell this story because a young lady, well, that's when we integrated in the 70s. I worked in a quad with with 3 other teachers. I was the only black. Everybody in that quad had a room mother, what is it called? Room mother, except me, and it was leading up to Christmas. This is the perfect time to answer that question.
Wow.
Leading up to Christmas. I didn't have anyone to come in and plan my Christmas party for the kids, and there was a little girl, and she said to me, she knew I didn't have anybody to plan my party. She said to me, she caught my hand and said to me, Mrs. Robinson, do you have a homeroom mother? She knew I didn't. I said, no. She said, would you like for my mom to be your homeroom mother? I said, of course. The next day, Mrs. Godfrey came in, the mother of Karen Godfrey, and said to me, Mrs. Robinson, I understand you don't have a homeroom mother. I said, no. She said, well, I will be your homeroom mother, and I will plan the Christmas party for your class. I couldn't believe it. I was so...
That was fun. Oh, that was awesome.
know. And what is so amazing about this young lady, I saw her, she became a principal, and one day I spoke on Rosewood at the school out at Oakville, Newberry. And she said, hi, Mrs. Robinson. And I said to her, hi, Karen Godfrey. I remembered her too. She said, you remember me? I said, yes. And you know who she is today? She is a retired superintendent of Alachua County School.
Oh, wow.
That Karen Godfrey Clark.
Wow.
We are still good friends. Nothing changes that because she was Karen Godfrey to me. She lives in my heart. She helped me. I didn't resolve the racism, but she helped me. She just helped me feel better about racism. And I just want to say one other thing before we close. If you want to make a donation, you can go to www.rosewoodflorida.com. Okay. I am continuously humbled, honored, and blessed to meet people daily and invite them to join in peace building, healing, and reconciliation through learning about the history of Rosewood. That will wrap up today's episode. I am Queen Lizzie. Until next time, this is my Rosewood story, and I'm sticking to it.
Okay.